More real estate closing with less chaos, and how a smart transition management save you time and supercharge your lead generation.
You do not get into real estate to babysit paperwork, and yet that's the major thing of how we get paid. You're stuck between which signatures you need to get, what inspections, what timelines, and how do you grow your business? How do you do that leads every single day? The truth is, you do not need to work harder. You need to have systems in place to where you're working smarter, and that's what most successful agents do. They have, whether you close 2 deals or 200 deals, you need transaction management.
Exactly. Not only does it save your time, but actually give you freedom to show up online and follow up with your leads, building your brand, and while still delivering a white glove expensive to your client.
So let's break it down. Transaction management, maybe one day you'll have a transaction coordinator, but for now we need to make sure that you have the missing link between you and consistent closing. So real estate agents, we have a dozen hats. We're marketing, we're negotiating, we're being therapists, we're social media, we're closing, and oh yeah, we have all this paperwork. So the truth is, being busy isn't the same as being productive. So we need to, you finally got that buyer under contract. Now you have 22 items to handle in the next 30 days. So you're calling, talking to lenders, you're confirming inspections, you're talking about making sure that you're making sure all the documents are signed in DocuSign, you're texting the agents, you're confirming the deadline repairs. This is all things that you're doing all the single time. And of course you're posting on Instagram. And when your hot leads go cold because you were so focused on one and now they went somewhere else because we didn't have that follow-up, because we have to make sure we are always following up. Ask the seller about the CMA, and that is really what I want to say. You're working inside your business, not on your business.
Exactly. Therefore, this is the trap. You're working inside, as my wife said, not on your business. And now the opportunity cost and lead loss, momentum install, and the growth pause. What we should do, the age of the AI and the social media, visibility is everything, as all of us we know. And your ability to generate leads consistently depends on how often and how well you can show up for your audience. And that means if you are doing everything in your power, you're losing one thing and you cannot never get back. And that's the only thing that you cannot give it back, and that is the time.
So make sure, we're gonna now go through that step-by-step of what we're doing. Define what you're offloading. Before you even think about getting a virtual assistant or a tool that you're going to use, you have to decide what you can let go of. So most agents don't just jump into hiring somebody because you have to pay for that, or you don't jump into paying for expensive software. You have to know what it is that you can take. So take 30 minutes of your day and write everything you do from contact to close. What is your opening escrow, scheduling inspections, sending reminders, coordinating repairs, communicating with lenders and attorneys, gathering all the documents and the disclosures, sending walkthroughs, sending clients for utility instructions. Figure out what it is that you do from contract to close and highlight the tasks that you must do, and then you can synthesize everything else that can be delegated, and make sure you have systems in place now that you know what you can delegate.
Exactly. And now step 2 is choosing your transaction path, which it could be tool, person, or both. Now that you know what it needs to managing all these steps, you can decide how well you can manage that. For example, option 1 is transaction coordinator, or TC. This is a real person that often is licensed or trained that can handle all the admin tasks that once the deal goes under the contract. Then they work either as a part of the team of your brokerage that you are working. For example, we are working with the EXP Realty, part of the EXP Realty, or they are freelancer. They paid by the file, or typically they are, if they're by file, is something between $300 to $500 per transaction. Or usually what they do, they send the intro emails to the client, monitor their timelines and the key dates, follow up with their vendors and co-op agents, and upload everything to the compliance and free up hours of your week. And what to do?
Ask your mentor, your real estate agent, for referrals for this if you are looking for a person. Make sure you have interviewed at least 2 people to make sure that their communication style matches your communication style. Give them a test file with clear expectations and onboarding. Now, option B is making sure your software works. Now, at EXP, we have SkySlope, and I actually love SkySlope because especially if you're not ready for automation or hiring someone, SkySlope tells you step by step in a checklist everything that you need to make sure that you have there and follow. But other people use Dotloop, Trello, Follow Up Boss, Zapier. So basically, you want to make sure you have your checklist, your template. You have automation reminders, due date alerts. Make sure that you're emailing your buyers and sellers weekly, and then basically you're looking to be more polished and organized, at least with the software, because it's telling you everything you need to do.
Exactly. The step 3 really is setting the client experience on autopilot without losing that human touch or relationship. One of the biggest fear of agent that they have, if I automate or delegate too much, my client won't feel I take care of them. And then here's the truth. It's not about you doing everything. It's about them feeling they support it. And with a system or TC, transaction coordinator, you can definitely send beautifully branded updated emails every Friday, automatically notify clients of the next steps, keep communication professional and timely. And what are your clients' experience are?
They want to make sure they have clarity, they have confidence, and you are calm. And what do you get in return? You get your time. Yay! So making sure your TC knows what you want to say means that they can now repeat the actions over and over again. So you have a trusted assistant who's following your plan. Now, step 4, we want to make sure that we are getting that time, and it's not just more business and we're not doing catch up for everything else we have. So you don't want to be the agent who drops the ball. And we all do it once in a while, but we want to make sure that we are getting our back hours of our life. We can spend time with our kids. You want to make sure that we are doing, and you can do those income generating activities. So you can do things like, if you have your systems in place, now you can do those income. You can do those short forms. You can do 3 to 4 short forms. You can send out the database. You can send weekly newsletters. You can host virtual meetings. So and we have tools like ChatGPT that can help us move faster than ever and create things together. So we can be visible when we have the time and not just valuable.
And the final thought is to be your chief energy officer or your COO, not the clerk. You are not paid to manage the paperwork. You're paid to lead, to market, to build relationship as a human. Transaction management is just a bridge between being overwhelmed agent to becoming a strategic business owner. And it's just not about saving time. It's about giving yourself that space to generate lead and be purposeful in the digital world that is highly demanded, and you can be creating content and be present and speed in the market.
If you need the systems, if you don't have a system, you're doing everything the hard way. So I would say make sure we're taking back our time, making sure you have email scripts, and making sure you have a checklist to make sure that you are following what you need to do to get your time, because time matters no matter what. And I can't wait to see you in that class.